Good evening. Good evening and welcome to night one of Quickyland's Global Cooking Challenge. Tonight is night one of eating the food of South Africa. Tonight we're going to be making Bobotie with the yellow rice. So as a reminder, South Africa is of course located in the southern tip of Africa, right there. And tonight we're going to be making the closest thing that comes to the national dish of a very complicated cuisine, which is Bobotie. We'll get into that a little bit later. And so, and here we are. If you're not with us, I can certainly understand. We're all very difficult world events happening at the precise moment that we're doing this. So we're gonna try to focus on just doing the food right now and get back to the world later, because sadly it will still be there. But if you're seeing this at some point in the future, this is Friday, November 13th, 2015, and we're pulling ourselves away from the rest of the world to share a little bit of common humanity and make some good food. Okay? So let's just do that. So, tonight we're making a Bobotie, and there's a couple different ways of doing this. Let me get my other piece of paper here, and we're just getting started on that. So we're gonna start by preheating our oven to 325, and start doing some prep here. So we're gonna start by slicing a cup of onion. So let's do that. Okay. Said there's about a dozen different recipes for this, and I'm trying to split the difference. Doing one that can serve the fewest amount of people, since we only have 2 people. So we're going to thinly slice 1 onion. This dish, Bobotie, is one of the reasons it's sort of considered what passes as a national dish is because it's the one dish that you really can't find elsewhere. It is sort of like a meat casserole with custard on top, and it originated in the what would be called Cape Malay, which is present-day Jakarta, Indonesia, when the Dutch East India Company would bring slaves over from Indonesia. And so hence the foods and flavors of that worked their way over to South Africa. There are a couple different ways to do this, like I said, and this is the one that I've chosen to go with. Sometimes I've seen this done with some other ingredients. For instance, at Epcot, at the Food and Wine Festival I was just at last week. I don't remember if they had it this year. No, they didn't, because South Africa didn't have a booth this year. But last year they had it at the South Africa booth, and I saw the recipe for theirs. And like I said last week, with the Food and Wine Festival there, they seem to make everything a sort of the most accessible way they can. And so the version they did had turkey and mushrooms in it, and garlic, which all seemed well enough, but didn't seem to really be the most authentic version. So I'm going with this one. It tends to have a number of curries. People use curry powder or curry paste in it, and different leaves in the recipe. Also, I've seen bay leaves, but one recipe I saw said to use kaffir lime leaves, dried ones at that, which is curious, which is common in Southeast Asian cooking. So that is, I happen to have some kaffir lime leaves sitting around that have kind of dried out even, so unintentionally we have dried kaffir lime leaves that we're going to use. So as we chop our onion, the food of South Africa is probably, for what I've seen so far, the most multicultural, shall we say, because you have so many influences across the many different peoples of South Africa, from the indigenous population, the Bantu, and such, to the various colonizing forces, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the British, and such. Hey, how you doing? Remco, yes, good seeing you. Thanks for the like and the restream. We are focusing on getting our food out today and just trying to put aside the what's happening in the rest of the world right now, because this is going to be therapeutic today. So today we're making Bobotie, which is a sort of like a meat casserole and custard, influenced by the Indonesian, the Southeast Asian peoples that were brought to South Africa as slaves. And the first recipe for Bobotie appeared in a Dutch cookbook in 1609. It suggested that it came from a different dish with custard from what is Indonesia. However, that dish doesn't really have a whole lot in common with this one other than that, and the similarity on the name. But like I was saying, I think I had the one at the Epcot Food and Wine Festival last year, and I just looked up the recipe for it, and it's very different than anything else that, any actual South African recipes that I found, because that involved turkey and mushrooms and garlic, none of which are featured here. It's apparently, originally it had either pork or lamb, but now it tends to be either lamb or beef. I think that's kind of how it works. I decided to go with lamb this time instead of beef, because if you're with us last week, we did a casserole dish, which is for Somalia, which came out very good. Lots of, flavors and curries and things like that. And I didn't want things to be... Oh, I already did that. I didn't want things to be too similar. So, this time I'm using lamb, because I was able to find some nice ground lamb at the store today. There wasn't a whole lot to buy. Also, one thing I would have had to buy for this dish is white bread. We don't eat white bread in this house, so that was going to be kind of tricky, because I didn't want to buy a whole loaf of white bread for 2 pieces, which I've actually had to do before, and I didn't really enjoy having to do that. Actually, I'm still debating on what to do the other 2 nights, which will be on Sunday and on Tuesday. What exactly we'll be making. I think I have an idea as to what I want to make for one of those 2 nights, because my global traveling friend, the one who's, I went to, hey, Clifton, thank you for the restream there. My global traveling friend who, like I said, he went to every country in the world without flying, got the Guinness World Record and all that stuff. When he was in South Africa, in Durban, which is on the East Coast, he described having this one other dish, which struck me as, like, insanely great. So, I'm thinking of making that one of the other 2 nights, but it may involve me actually making a loaf of white bread from scratch, which is going to be weird. But this one involves
2 slices of white bread. And since I don't have white bread, I happen to have sourdough. So I'm going to use sourdough and hope it works just as well. This shouldn't take too long, and from what I saw, it can be served with... Oh, actually, I was only supposed to slice it and not chop it, but I think we'll be okay. Said you can just serve it with like a salad, but elsewhere I said you can be served with rice. So our side is going to be South African yellow rice. Both of these are considered to come from the Cape Town area, which is where the dishes originated. So for the Dutch colonialists and the imported slave labor. As we all know, South Africa has a very complicated history, and don't think we're getting into the details of that tonight. Want to steer clear of geopolitics today. But we have our chopped onion. Love sourdough, yes. Yes, I have 2 slices left. I always keep sourdough on hand. It's like, it's my kind of James. Thank you for the like a midnight snack. But that's, you know, so luckily I had it already. Okay, let me clean this off, and then we're gonna do the little trick that I did a couple weeks ago, which I learned and it seemed to work out well. Oh, but first, I need to do something else. I need to get that bread I was just mentioning, because I need to let the bread soak for a few minutes. So I need to get my iPad out. So we're gonna get this. I just had to pop in to wish you successful cooking season. See you again soon. Thank you very much for coming by. I appreciate Jürgen. I appreciate you coming by. I understand that there are more important things to be paying attention to right now. I completely understand. So we're gonna get our milk. Now I don't have whole milk. I just have the fat-free milk that I tend to use. So I'm thinking of adding some butter. I'm thinking of doing that. I'm thinking of adding a tablespoon of melted butter to this, because I think the fat will help. So let me get that going. This happened before. Usually when I have a recipe that calls for milk, I make a point of getting a very small amount of whole milk. But this day, I'm just sticking with the milk that we have on hand. So let me go melt this sucker for a few seconds. Hopefully that won't explode in there. We're gonna need this a little bit later, because I found, like right after I wrote out everything that I needed, I found another recipe for this which had the same ingredients, just a slightly different method on the cooking. So I'm gonna try to merge those two, because they both seem pretty authentic. So we got our melted butter, and we got our measuring cups out. So just get some fat going there. Thank you for the like, Seema. Thank you very much. We are focusing on the community of the world and food and peace and joy at this moment, and processing it through food. Deep breaths. Okay, so we're gonna get half a cup of milk and put it in here with the butter, because this is going to be used 2 different ways. Way 1 coming up right now, which is we're getting our bread, and as I mentioned, it calls for 2 pieces of bread. I happen to have sourdough handy. It said it wanted white bread, and I don't know, when I see what's in the white bread that you buy in the store, I don't really like buying white bread. We tend to eat whole wheat bread when we have like sandwiches and stuff. I'm trying to get a decent angle so I do not get like shot with the light there. Still have the halo effect happening. Okay, so we're gonna take our 2 pieces of bread and soak them in the water, in the milk rather. I think it might need to be soaked in more milk than that. It said 2 pieces. I feel like it needs, well, wow. I'm keeping that 1 little piece. I think it needs more milk than that, to be honest. Because that's not covering it in any way, shape, or form. Executive decision, adding more milk. Hopefully that'll do it. Okay, so we're soaking our bread in the milk for at least 10 minutes. And Siri, add milk to the groceries list. If I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. Okay, and as you can hear, we are listening to traditional South African music, going from Mary Makeba to Lady Smith Black Mambazo and beyond. So we're going to let this soak. Let me push that in. Have it absorb as much as it can. Okay. So, wash hands. Alrighty. So while we let that do its thing, we're going on to trick number 2 of the, which you saw before, which involved honey, which I have hiding somewhere deep in the bowels of, yes, my eternal supply of honey. This one is a gift. One of my 3 beekeeper friends. It's odd that I have 3 friends that totally independent of each other happen to be beekeepers. Is this the owner of Meerkat? No, this is not the owner of Meerkat. This is just me. Nowcast. I got, actually it was nice enough, Meerkat did a profile on me just this morning, which is very nice. I don't know if you happen to see that. You can go to follow me on Twitter at Cliffyland, and you can see it in my tweets. It was very nice of them. So we have homemade honey right here. So we're gonna utilize this. I don't know what this is. So card or something that didn't open like months ago when I got this. It is. Oh my goodness, it is. Well, good gosh, I should have seen that months ago. A note from my beekeeper friends. Oh well, at least now I'm using the honey. What are you cooking? I am cooking what's called Bobotie, which is, as I said, the closest thing that South Africa has to sort of a national dish, in that it's a dish that can generally only be found in South Africa, which is sort of like a meat casserole, spiced meat casserole with a custard topping and various spices. So it's not a spicy dish, but it has spices. So that's what I'm making. And right now I'm just pouring some honey into a bowl with some water, because we're gonna need that for the next thing that happens. Okay, so let's dissolve that honey in the water a little bit. Stay, don't attack. Okay. That's really not going to dissolve much, but this is a chemical process happens here, or prevents a chemical process from happening, depending how you want to look at things. Sounds good. How long does it take? This particular dish, well, I keep saying I'm the world's slowest prep cook. So it could take, you know, dinner time is quarter to 8. So that's when dinner is. It looks like the actual cooking process takes about an hour to 45 minutes. Konbato mano. Hey Justin, how you doing? Thank you for liking the restream. We are focusing on food and our common humanity through food today, as we take our minds off bad things and focus on the good. And today that's going to involve a piece of machinery, which you may have seen me freak out at before, but I'm not going to freak out quite so much as I did before, because Ben Rubin is the founder. Oh, good. Thank you for that, because I did not know. I knew it was somebody. I didn't know who it was. Okay, this is my magic apple peeler. Apple peeler and corer. See, now it's solid. And I think I remembered how to do this before. This has to go in all the way this way. No? Oh, hold on. Lift. Come on back. You're gonna come on back? This way. Pull back. There you go. Okay, I got it. Well, I'm just relaxing till work. Oh, good. Well, let's do that. Let's relax together. So I got me an apple. Little tart apple, which we are going to wash and then peel and core. And then we're going to chop it. But since apples turn brown, that's where the honey comes in. Because the honey and water will let the apple stay working the third shift now. Oh dear. I'm going in tonight 10 to 5:38. Oh my goodness. You have my sympathies. That can't be fun. Although the ironic thing, for me, the ironic thing is that when I was a teenager, I dreamt that would be my schedule. I thought I like to sleep during the day, and I'm like a night owl, so I thought that would work well for me, but now I know that was probably silly. I was a bit confused by the apron. Oh, okay, yeah, just meerkat loyal. So we're going to peel and core this apple. Hopefully I aimed right. Did I aim right? Let's find out. Come on, baby. Wow, I mean, I'm getting this right on. You saw me the last time. Even last time, I was a little confused by the process here. But I got it this time. Yeehaw! Isn't that great? Look at that. Lol, I used to do this. I used to do the same damn thing. Okay, so yeah. So this will be the trash over here. Over there, everyone goes that way, you go this way. Okay, so we've got our apple. Okay, fine. Just... Yum. Let me get this off of this. Ah! There you go. Okay. So now we have our apple. We can now go to chopping our apple and then putting it in the honey water. So, okay, and I do it quickly, hopefully, so it doesn't turn too brown on me too quickly. Okay, into the honey water you go. Honey. Alrighty, and so trying to get flat surfaces for chopping. And using the claw grip to keep from slicing my hands open. Which so far I've managed to do. But don't want to jinx it. Okay. So we've got our diced apple into the honey water to keep it from going brown. Apparently you can also use vinegar or salt water. However, any method you choose is going to leave a little bit of food, a little taste residue of whatever it is that method you've chosen to keep from it going brown. If you're using salt water, you'd have to rinse it, of course. I've used the vinegar thing before, which is fine, but again, you know, you're going to wind up with some vinegar flavor, which you may or may not want when you're done with everything. So, okay, randomly diced, into the drink you go. So, there you dum. So this is, traditionally has, seems to always have apple in it. Sometimes I see it having apricots, depending on how you pronounce. Small and feisty. Thank you for being a first place you come by. Very much appreciated. How you been cooking? There might be a word missing there. What I'm cooking is a bobotie. This is my chopped apples here, which I'm keeping in honey water to keep them going brown. How long I've been cooking? I started cooking today, just 20 minutes ago. If I started cooking in general, how long have I been cooking? How long I've been cooking in general is an interesting question, and that goes to kind of what this whole project is. In that, I never learned to cook. About 30 years ago, I had a terrible accident where I almost accidentally died because I didn't know certain food basics. So I did not go into the kitchen, I didn't cook anything, and the joke was that I never cooked. And then after a long series of situations, I decided that I needed to, you know, let go of that whole I don't cook business. And someone told me to basically just do it. And so I kind of did. And I set out to do a one dish. I was reading a book on Afghanistan, and this is in 2012. A book on Afghanistan was talking about, and this woman was talking about this one stew, which is like her favorite thing in the world, which brought her memories of home. And I decided, you know what, let me try making that. I did it, it was really great. And I said, what do you know? I can cook. And then I thought, well, you know what, I have OCD, and I need to learn to cook. And I love geography. So how about I do a country a week in alphabetical order, and then at the end of about 4 years, I will have learned to cook. So therefore, this is week number 160 of 193 UN member states doing South Africa. We've been doing it on Meerkat since spring. With Pakistan was the first country we did on Meerkat. And now we're doing 2 and 3 nights a week, and we're on South Africa. So I hope that answers your question. Hey, Miss Jonesy, Jules, back to you. Thank you for the restream. This is our curry powder, and I'm gonna need to buy more curry powder. We're gonna be using, because we're using a lot of curry powder today and all week, it seems. And last week we used a lot of it too, and the week before that. So we're using 2 tablespoons of curry powder. And it says the best curry powder for this would be a Madras curry. I don't have a specific curry here. This is just the Spice Islands curry powder. I forgot who it was. But when I had the husband run out and buy more of the curry powder a few weeks ago, when I ran out, someone was saying, no, you can make your own. And I was about to make my own curry powder, and then I realized I was missing an ingredient. So I may wind up making my own curry powder later. I have to remember, I don't have much left. Okay, so my curry powder ready. Moving on to set aside raisins. So we need ½ a cup of raisins, and I need to be judicious with my raisins because I have to use raisins in both dishes. And so I need to have enough for each, and I hope I do. These are your seedless California raisins, and over both dishes I'm gonna need 1 cup's worth. So I'm basically gonna use half of what's in here, which I hope is more or less ½ a cup. I think I can, at this stage, I think I can eyeball it, but just to be on the safe side. because it feels like this feels like a cup of raisins. Like I said, I've seen it done with apricots also, dried apricots. But most recipes I saw just said to use raisins, sultanas, which might be golden raisins. I have those too. But so these are the raisins for this dish, and I will put this aside for now. Don't go far because we'll need you soon. So we've got our raisins, and put that aside. And now, okay, we're gonna sliver some almonds. I have almonds, but they're not already sliced. And so I'm just gonna try to slice me up some almonds. This should be about 2 tablespoons worth. So that kind of looks like what I have. That's about 1, that's about 2, so yeah. So let's use up all our almonds. So, yay. And let's see how we slice up almonds. Let me clean off this knife. And I don't want to use a big knife for something like this. How to slice almonds. Golly gee. I would rather do it the other way. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I'm just going to end up chopping these. In fact, you know what? I may go for the big knife after all. Because I don't want to throw them in the spice grinder because that would kind of pulverize them. I'm just going to slice them in half. So, yes, I am guessing that most people seeing this will be seeing this in the future on YouTube. By the way, if you see me taking pictures and stuff, everything is for the blog. The blog is located at cliffyland.com. You'll see pictures of everything, links to the recipes, reviews of kind of how things went, links to the original videos, and information, trivia about the country as well, historical information, etc., etc., etc. So you can find that at cliffyland.com. You can follow on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on Tumblr, which is where the blog is, and now on YouTube. So you can go to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just look for Cliffyland and check it out. Could use subscribers. That would be cool. I'm just getting started on there, but oddly some people are checking it out. I have even joined Imgur yesterday. Not that it has anything to do necessarily with this yet. The meme kind of thing. I was looking for a meme with. I don't know if I always keep talking about Top Chef because Top Chef is the show that got me into this. But the odd part is that nobody on here ever seems to acknowledge that they watch Top Chef. I feel like I'm the only person. Because back when they did Top Chef All-Stars, Carla Hall, who's now a big deal on The Chew, etc., she had to do a chicken pot pie, and she kind of went crazy, going, chicken pot pie, oh my god, chicken pot pie. And someone was referencing chicken pot pie, so I was looking for a meme of like her freaking out over chicken pot pie, and I had to make my own. So now I know how to make a meme. Okay, almonds. So, this is trash, so before I try to cook with trash, away you go. Okay, so we have our almonds. Next. Now, there are some recipes that I saw suggest one thing, and some suggested another, vis-a-vis the next step, which is lemons. One I saw said to, get a lemon zest and get whole lemons. So we have lemons, and I'm gonna do what one of the recipes said, to use both the zest and the lemon. And it's about 2 tablespoons worth. I'm gonna use 2 lemons. Because one of the recipes that I'm merging with calls for at some point to have enough to kind of boil, which makes me wonder that if 2 tablespoons is really enough. But there's an ongoing problem, and one of the reasons that I delayed learning to cook for so long was that since it's only 2 of us, I don't cook for like 4 people. I would, you know, every recipe seems to serve like, you know, 4 to 6 people or 6 to 12 people or whatever, which, and I learned very early in this process that, you know, dividing things by, you know, whatever doesn't always work. Because sometimes you're leaving off flavor, and I was kind of screwing up. So I need to get a microplane. I need to ask Santa Claus for a microplane. We're zesting the lemons. This isn't the best implement for that, I have found. It seems to work, but not as well as I see it on TV. So we'll see. But usually when it calls for lemon zest, it doesn't call for lemon juice also. So thankfully this one is using both, so I won't be doing it forever. I mean, I won't be keeping a zested lemon in the fridge until Kingdom Come. Okay. Okay, getting there on the zest. Okay, that looks sort of good. Let's get you out there. A little bit more, and then I'll get the other lemon. Because again, 2 tablespoons. I don't know if this, and these lemons aren't. They've been sitting there for a couple weeks, so they may not have. They may not be the juiciest lemons in the world. We bought them by the bag for actually to clean the patio. Get a good bicep workout out of this. Ow. You know, I kind of had read that chefs get certain physical stressors, you know, back problems and stuff, but like calluses in certain places and repetitive stress injuries. Now I understand. So I'm developing calluses, like where I hold the knife, which I never imagined would happen. Okay, that's enough on the zesting for you. Okay, so I've got lemon zest, so let's get some lemons. Okay. Whew. Get your mind off things. Okay. Okay, so, oh, I have my, whatchamacallit, lemon juicer. So let's see how that goes. Okay, you are right here. And we're going to slice open our lemons and see how much juice we get out of them. So, anybody done that with those Twitter polls? Keep getting these notifications about Twitter polls. I voted. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Okay. That is not a tablespoon, so I'm glad I decided to go with 2. I'm putting them together since they're going to wind up together in the... Normally I'd separate them, but they're winding up in the same place at the same time, so... I don't care. Okay. So... lemon and... lemon. Okay, that's more than 2 tablespoons, but it'll be okay. It's gonna boil off anyway. So, where we have our lemon zest and lemon juice together. And we're almost ready to start. Almost. We're gonna set our turmeric, which we're gonna be using in both dishes, actually. So just have that handy. And that's going to make everything nice and colorful. And our kaffir lime leaves, which, you know what, they're not that easy to find. When I first had to find kaffir lime leaves, and I'm going to have to dig in the fridge here for a second, so hold that thought. Yes. These are not the freshest. But oddly enough, it called for dried ones, so now they're dried. I bought them because I only know of one place here that has them. Because first place I went, I found, I asked around this international market. I had to like grab random Asian ladies walking around buying stuff and said, "Kaffir lime leaves." And they said, "No, people just have the tree in the backyard. They pull them off that. You're not going to find it in the store." I said, "That doesn't help me." So, and hey there, thanks for liking the restream. Other recipes call for bay leaves, and we're using the kaffir lime leaves. Here, smell. They're dried, but they're okay. It gives a good amount of flavor, the same way a bay leaf would. So I guess it's okay that they're dried. It's said to, I've seen pictures that use 4, and I saw them use bay leaves. But the leaves are actually kind of this big. They're kind of 2 parts, not when they're dried, but still. 1, 2, see, they're like 2 parts like that. So we're going to say that's good. You don't wind up eating them, just the flavor seeps out of them into the food. I have to take it out before you put it in your mouth. How am I doing? Okay, so I'm gonna time this. So let's see, it's 6:42 and 55, an hour. I think we're good, doing quite good. Okay, amazingly, I might be on time. I tend to always be late or early. Mostly I've been late. If you were with us last Sunday, I had a guest over for the first time without the husband. So, very camera shy friend. So, and I was late, which meant I couldn't show off the final product because I didn't want him to be like, "Who are you talking to? Why are you standing in the kitchen talking to yourself?" So, we're getting a skillet, and here is one place where the recipes diverge. In that I did unplug you just now. Let's move. We're gonna take our knife with us because we are going to heat up 1 tablespoon of butter, which has now gotten soft sitting on the counter. And one thing I've learned is that sometimes you want to start with a hot pan and sometimes you want to start with a cold pan. And in this case, with butter, you want to start with a cold pan so it doesn't, just brown and burn instantly. And you get in there. And we are going to... Ooh, I need my scissors and a spatula, and that is going to warm up. And the first thing that's going to go in here is going to be the meat. Indeed. So I'm going to need the meat. I'm going to need a large bowl for the meat to land in after it's done. So it's going to wind up in here, and that's melting in there. You can crouch down. Notice how I managed to clean off the lens from on Tuesday. Y'all fell into the battery face first. Did it hurt? Okay, so we're getting out our lamb. So we got some grass-fed lamb right here. We need to open this puppy. And there's a pound of ground lamb. So, is there another way to open this? Do I have to slice it? Ah, here. Good. Hopefully, I can peel back. Yay! Get out. Open. Alrighty? We're getting there. Okay. Good. So, this is butter melting. Hold that thought. You watch it, yell if you see anything happen. Okay, are you still there? Okay, good. So, we're melting our butter. And maybe it's a little too low. And then this is going to go in here, and we're going to use, you know, I'm going to do what one of the recipes suggested, rather than just use the spatula. It said to use 2 wooden spoons to chop it up. So, you know, why not? We'll do that. So, melting butter. And I guess I don't need those scissors after all. Okay, so blibbity blabbity blue. Yep. Onions, and then a bunch of stuff. Okay, we have our salt out here ready to go. We have, are gonna get our pepper out while that melts. Just when this stops being frothy, it still seems like it's too low, but just one of the problems I always have with butter is that it always gets too hot too fast. So patience. Then this is gonna go. The lamb is gonna go in here. Now there's some recipes that I saw, like the one recipe I started out working with, decided to put the lamb in and then put in the onions with it, and if you need to move the lamb out of the way, and then put in the other stuff. Another recipe I saw said like mix everything and then heat it up, but this one seems to make the most sense in that it said to do this, to put the, I need to get my camera, to take the lamb or beef, but in this case lamb, and cook it up first, and then take it out, and then put in the other stuff that you're going to see in a bit. So this is a little bit frothy, not a little bubbly, bubbly enough. Again, I always have a problem with the separating. I think that's okay. So in you go. Here, camera out and ready. Okay, lamb here. Okay. So in you go. 1, 2, and 3. Go. There. I think today's food headline will be comfort food. Hey Junior, thank you for the restream. Thank you for coming by. Today we are exercising comfort food. We're comforting ourselves through food to just get our minds off bad stuff. The world will wait. So it suggested using these 2 spoons to break up our meat, which seems like a decent enough idea. And thank you, Junior. Thank you for coming by on this unusual Friday night. So we are chopping up our meat for bobotie, which is going to be our meat casserole. Love comfort food. Well, yes. This is going to have lamb and lots of great flavors, and then sort of like an egg custard on top. And it is a favorite of the Cape Town area. And And but there's, like I said, the cuisine of South Africa is very, very complicated because it involves the foods of so many different peoples that have come to call South Africa their home. And they've kind of merged and blended and such. So far from what I've been researching in terms of the dishes that I'm looking at doing, they seem to be from different regions of the country, and having influence of different peoples. This is from sort of the Dutch colonists and the Southeast Asian, sort of Indonesian, Malay people that were brought over as slaves and sort of created this dish out of an Indonesian dish, and made it a South African creation. Other dishes I'm thinking of, this one I was talking about where I'm thinking I'm going to have to bake my own loaf of white bread, is really weird and interesting, and I'm thinking of I'm going to give that a shot on Sunday. And that one comes from basically Indian people that came over as workers from India and landed in Durban, which is on the East Coast. And then I was looking at another dish, which is a seafood dish, which is interesting and unusual, and seems to be a favorite of the West Coast. So I'm doing a lot of coastal stuff. I'm feeling like I'm not doing enough of the indigenous, Bantu, Zulu population, their foods. I'm having trouble with that because the couple things that I'm seeing that are uniquely South African in this regard are kind of hard to pull off. One is like a dessert, which I don't do desserts. It's like a pastry, and I apologize for not having the names at the tip of my tongue right now. Another is sort of like a beef jerky, which is like a comfort food. People eat on it while they watch cricket. But, just drying out meat for 6 weeks isn't really, what I'm shooting for here. And a third thing is sausage. Sort of like a coiled sausage that's made. And I found a recipe for it, except, I've never made sausage, and I don't have, the machinery to, put on a sausage casing and fill sausages. And the idea of just kind of doing it for the first time by hand with no guidance sounds, a combination of scary and stupid. So, other stuff that I'm finding of the, various tribes people in South Africa is very tricky because it's, a lot of it's a little on the scary side because it's, chicken head and, chicken feet and various awful, tongue and a lot of, unusual things that not only are kind of, tricky to try, be actually hard to find on my front. I'm sorry, I have really lousy eyesight. Kov, is it? Kov Chow? Thank you for the like there. Thank you very much. We're making our bobotie. We are rendering the fat and cooking our ground lamb for this. And I'm trying to do this on heat that's not too high so as not to break my butter. It's kind of on a medium heat. But another thing I really want to do, and I found a great recipe that I don't think I can do it. I wanted to make ostrich steaks. I found a great recipe. It's ostrich steaks cooked in wine and port, and it sounds really delicious, but I called the one place I thought I might be able to find ostrich steaks, the gourmet market. They called their supplier. They said they can get ground ostrich, which is not what I needed, or I can get ostrich steaks for $79 a pound. I don't want it that bad. So, unless, I don't know where I could find, ostrich steaks for not an insane amount of money. So I think our lamb is cooked. So now that our lamb is cooked, let me take a picture of it, and we're going to put you aside into this bowl over yonder. Over here. Transfer. And it said to use a slotted spoon to get that out, which probably would be smart, though time consuming. So I'm just going with a regular spoon. It said to drain out everything but 2 tablespoons of the fat, because we're going to need that for the next part, but not too much of it. Again, I'm blending a number of different recipes for this. This version of taking the meat out and then continuing with the next steps seems to make the most sense, for reasons you'll see shortly. Can you see? You can't even see. You're not even pointed at it. There. Try not to burn my hands over the burner also. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. Still have some leftover lamb here. Don't think I'm gonna be able to get all of it out, but I'll get enough of it out. Come on, baby. You know, I haven't had lamb in months now. We had a whole run of Islamic nations in a row where lamb is a big deal. And then suddenly, magically, we had a run of European countries where pork was a big deal. So that looks like 2 tablespoons, etc., of the fat. So I think that'll be okay. So now I'm going to put the heat back on. And let me double check, because like I said, the very last minute I decided to take care of doing this other recipe this way. So we're going to add in our onions here and let those soften for about 5 minutes. And we don't want them to caramelize, but we do want them to soften. And as that does that, I'm referring back to both recipes here. Then the curry powder, the sugar, salt, and pepper. Am I right? Yes. So let me get all that ready over here. So the curry powder, sugar. Wait a minute. Where did sugar come in here? One of these recipes had sugar, which I just realized. And that's the one that I did not put the ingredients out for. You know what? I seem to recall saying brown sugar. I'm going to add just like a tablespoon's worth of that. Let me get my serving spoon, my things ready here. For that, usually I ladle it out earlier. In fact, I can ladle it out now because this could take a minute. I don't remember exactly how much of it, which is odd. But I'm just going to kind of guess here. I don't have time to go back and find out. I have my, if you may have seen before, I have my brown sugar in a different brown sugar box because I have the bag of it, and I have my little clay bear inside, which keeps it from turning into a solid rock of brown sugar. So it's like a little bit of magic. And yes, you can use a piece of bread or even a piece of apple, which keeps the keeps it moist remarkably. More magical kitchen chemical processes that I was not aware of until either I read them on Tasting Table or someone here mentioned them. And now that is getting a little too bubbly, and I need to rush back to my onions. Okay. So we're looking carefully to make sure that they do not start to burn. The recipe called for sliced. I wound up dicing because I wasn't paying attention. But you know, you can't blame me for being a little distracted today, I guess. Let me get my water because I'm a little thirsty. I'll be right back. While this does this, I'm going to get out my saucepan for the second dish. And my casserole dish, because all going to bake in here in the oven. And my saucepan for our rice. Berg. Normally you see me make rice in a rice cooker, but today the recipe doesn't specifically call for that. I mean, it specifically calls for doing it like the old-fashioned way, so we're going to go with the old-fashioned way. Okay. So as we soften our onions, let me spray down the casserole dish with the, where is the spray here? Reach. Okay. Don't let that burn. Okay. So grease that up. This will need you in a moment. So good. Thank you. Thank you very much. San Antonio 1, thank you very much. We are making a bobotie, and we're going to be making a yellow rice, South African yellow rice to go with it. So, they seem to have softened. I'm looking for a little bit of golden. But I'm wondering if maybe I shouldn't. Now these are in the lamb fat that was rendered earlier with the butter. One recipe just said to do it in a dry pan, which this being non-stick was probably not the greatest idea in the world. So I went with the butter. I am not afraid of fat, but that's just me. Okay. Okay, so here we're gonna get moving. We're gonna start adding stuff. So we're adding in here, like, thank you very much, Wasin, or Bobotie. So we're adding our curry powder here, and salt. Too much. Salt and pepper. Am I right? Am I right? Double check. Yes. Pepper. Now I've seen some recipes use like a store-bought curry paste for this also, but we're not doing that. And brown sugar. I'm using a tablespoon. I hope that's not a big old mistake. But this one recipe I said called for brown sugar, so brown sugar it is. And at that moment, the brown sugar decides to get hard. I clearly did something wrong. Come on. I don't want you doing that. That's better. Come on, break up. Okay. So I'm making a little curry paste here with the onions, turning down the heat a little bit. Seeming to get a little bit too hot. And okay, so then I'm going to stir in the lemon juice. here that has the zest in it. And we're gonna let that boil. Let that get all the stuff off the bottom of the pan there. Now it smells like all sorts of yum. Hey Fly Friends, thanks for liking the restream. Yum, yes, our goal is to make everybody happy and hungry and think about good things and happy things. So now that's kind of boiled just for a minute or so. I'm gonna pour this over the lamb, which is sitting right over here. So let's get that happening. Turn off the heat. And focus. Okay, in you go. Now we're going to wind up moving back over to the other side of the kitchen in a second here. Because standing over the hot stove, for no good reason, is probably not the smartest move. Okay. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. So, let us move. Just saw a spider going up to the cupboard. You did? You did not. I hope that was a joke. And that would be bad. Okay. Gee. Life in South Florida. Strange things happen. Okay, so now that we have our yeah, so now we're gonna get the bread that we yes. Oh boy. Well, I have to keep my eyes open for it then. Okay, we have our bread that we've had in our milk that's been sitting in our milk for the whole time, and we're gonna squeeze it. Am I right? Yes. Let me move this. It was looking for a glass to have a drink. Eek. Okay, so we're squeezing the milk out. Oh well. Hey Diana, how you doing? Thank you for the restream. Okay, we're squeezing the milk out of this bread. And like I said before, this is supposed to be white bread. I don't have white bread. We don't keep white bread in the house, and I didn't want to buy a loaf of white bread just for this. In fact, I'm going to have to make my own loaf of white bread for a dish I'm making either Sunday or Tuesday, which is going to be a really interesting thing, so make sure to tune in for that, because that's going to be kind of kooky, kind of crazy. Let me put this down here for a second while I wash my hands. I hope it wasn't a big one. You got these little itty bitty white ones that hang out outside by the front door. Eek. Okay. Anyway. Well, I hit it. Oh, hold on. Then, Derek, into Victor today. He said to say hi. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you. Well, hi back to Victor. I saw him. I give a restream. Well, I hit like it didn't show. Okay. Let me get, so the bread here, the white bread has been squeezed. Or this is actually sourdough. And the spider is on the roof. Are you serious? Y'all punking me today? Well, the roof would be outside, so that would be an okay for a place for it to be. Hi, Cliffy, Dr. Victor. Yes, talked to Victor Day, said hi. That's very nice. Well, maybe I'll see it in the back. Hey, if you guys can see it, I can see it. So, I mean, if I'm looking up. Okay, so breaking apart the bread into little pieces that's been moistened in the milk. There's a lot of crust in that, but you know, it'll be okay. So I need to take a picture of that and wash my hands. I hit like and restream only. Showed the restream. Oh, that happens sometimes. Hey, Diana. Yes. Oh, there's the husband. Hi. So I need to take a picture of that. Yeah, sometimes the app is weird. Like the other day, everyone's emojis were turning to question marks. I'm glad they got that cleared up. I think I made a blurry picture. No. Okay. So I'm saving the milk that I squeezed out, and that's gonna happen later. But meanwhile, we're gonna add here to this mixture an egg. Before I do that, I'm gonna taste, because I don't want to taste a raw egg, but the meat is cooked. Tastes good. Could use more salt. Yes, I know. We are trying to keep our minds off today's bad news, focus on our common humanity and food right now. The horrors of the world will still be there, unfortunately, when we come back. It's next to the microwave near the cupboard. It? No. Next to the microwave, near the cupboard. There's a spider here. Everyone's seeing it, and I'm not. We'll be armed and ready. Yes. I bet sourdough adds a different but good flavor. Yes, I hope so too. And yes, and there will be. Pepper. More pepper. And let me taste it again. See if it's any better. So, I'll feed our souls with food. Now that's better. Oh my. That's good. Now I didn't mix it, but still. Not yet. Because I need to add an egg. Egg. There's gonna be egg here, one egg now and one egg later. I have to be very careful with my eggs. I have a nasty habit of screwing up cracking eggs. Every time I do, I seem to do something wrong, so here goes. Did I take a picture of that? No, I didn't. Okay, salt and pepper. Okay. Oh, thank you for there. It looks tasty. Thank you, Miss Jonesy. Okay, egg goes in. And so after we add the egg, what are we adding? Let me put these. Hi.
Cute haircut.
Thank you. Okay. Blibbity blabbity blue. It's like I said, I'm merging two recipes here, so I'm kind of going back and forth between them. We're gonna add the apple that we drained earlier. We have sitting in the honey water to keep them going brown. So let's go drain that. Oh, by the way, sweetie,
Yeah.
if you're in here, like I said, they are reporting that they're seeing a spider in the background somewhere, and I'm not seeing it.
Okay.
So if you do, okay, so we've drained our apple. Apple is going to be going into the mix here. They said it was over by the microwave somewhere, but I looked around it. That thing is there to kill it, the paper towel. Okay. And adding the raisins. Don't do that to him.
No.
Apple raisins. Yes, raisins. Okay, so raisins here. And we're going to add the almonds as well. Almonds. Hey, Kathy. Thank you for the restream. Okay, and what am I missing? Am I missing everything? Okay. Okay. Did that. Okay, we got a dash of turmeric. Whoops. There's no topper on that, so is the where are my measuring spoons?
I've not seen them.
They must be hiding. They're hiding with the spider. Okay. Dash of turmeric. The lights aren't showing up. Yeah, it's weird. He's lying, messing with you. That's what I thought at first, but you know. Hold on, I should have put that in the other hand. Nah, screw it. In it goes. Picture comes second. Okay, this is South African jazz, by the way. Nice cooking. Thank you, Craig. So we've added our turmeric, which is from a different one of the recipes. And now we're going to stir well. I'm going to get my spoons out. Okay, and mix this all up. Hello, I'm just joking. Derek, I haven't just joined. I don't know what you're cooking today. I am cooking what's called Bobotie. Bobotie, which is a South African favorite. It's considered, insofar as there is anything that resembles a national dish in South Africa, it's about as close as it gets. It is sort of like a meat casserole with, you know, fruits and such. Thank you, Ms. Jonesy. Apparently, it was a joke.
The joke?
Yes. It would, see, if it was the ones that we actually get here, they've been so small you wouldn't be able to see them. Because they're like about that big. And they're white.
Banana spiders outside.
Yeah, no, yeah, the ones that are outside, those are like that, so those don't get inside. I see them when I run. And it's really funny running in the dark. There's trees underneath, and I can't see. I'll have my light, and I'm running, also, it's like in my face. Running right through spider webs. So thankfully I haven't been bitten in the face by a spider. Yet. As an adult. Give it time. Okay. Anywho, we've mixed up our mixture here. And make sure yes. Okay, so now we're going to put this into our casserole dish here. And this is kind of the smaller of the two recipes. This is one I saw that only used 1 pound of meat. I saw the ones that called for like 2.5 pounds of meat. And I was like, that's not going to fly.
One per person?
Yeah. So, spreading this out. Now, I've seen, like I said before, I've seen recipes of this that call for bay leaves, and I've seen this one recipe I saw called for kaffir lime leaves, which is really much more indicative of the Southeast Asian origin of this dish. Seeing as I had kaffir limes, is that rice in there? No, those are apples. Those are apples in there. Apples and ground lamb, almonds and raisins, and onions and lots of curry flavors. No rice. That was the Somali dish that we made though last week, which was actually quite good. So now we're getting our kaffir lime leaves. Now these are dried, and they're not purposely dried, they just have been sitting around long enough. But I actually said to use dried bay leaves or dried kaffir lime leaves. So what do you know, we have dried kaffir lime leaves. You can pull them out before we actually eat, but I said to kind of bury them in. I saw pictures of the stuff just kind of sitting on top. I don't want them too far in because I want to be able to pull them out before I serve. So we're going to have you right in there. And once we have that in, let me make sure I got everything going. Okay, so let's put this aside for a moment. We have our milk and butter that the bread had been soaking in. So that's sitting right here. So here we're going to get our last egg. One shot at this because I have one egg. Okay. So here goes nothing. I'm not cracking it into there. Yay! Coming through. Oh, they're sitting right there.
Oh, I thought you had put them there.
No, I was looking for them. They're right in front of my nose. Okay. So we have our egg in our milk. The dish sounds delightful. I'm going to have the savory and the sweet. Yes. Did you put it in the oven after? Yes, you do put it in the oven after. The oven is been preheated at 325, although one recipe said 300, which we're going to find out which one's right. I went with the one that said 325 because. So I'm whisking this up. I know that the butter and pieces of the bread are still in there, but that's okay. This is going to be sort of like a custard that's going to go on top, and eventually it's all going to set. And then while that cooks, we're going to make the rice like as fast as we humanly can. Thankfully, it kind of works out that because that takes 40 minutes. Wow, I'm later than I thought. No, 30 minutes. 30 minutes? 20 to 30 minutes. No, 40 minutes in the oven, and then another 15. So again, here I thought I was gonna be on time, and again I was wrong.
I better have a snack.
Okay, I'm whisking it within an inch of its life here. I know there's pieces of bread in there, but you know there's pieces of bread in there too. So let go. Okay, so this is going to go over the top, to quote the Sylvester Stallone movie. And doesn't seem like enough egg, if I'm being honest. Okay. But it's going to have to do because now it goes into the oven right now for 40 minutes or so. One recipe said 30, one said 40. Yeah, one says 30, one says 40. So now we need to move very quickly to get our rice going. So now we're gonna move back over to the oven to work on our yellow rice. And for that, make sure I'm not putting paper on a hot burner. We're gonna have you, and we're going with our long grain rice, and we're adding a cup of, yes, 1 cup of the long grain rice into the saucepan here. Where did I put my here? Let's see if I use this. Okay. Long grain rice, which is now half on the freaking stove. And hold that thought. This is where the OCD comes in. Must be clean. Must be clean. Okay.
What's with this?
What's with
rice?
Oh, that, oh, see the little note that was in with the honey that we didn't see until now. It's long and skinny.
Oh,
So we're adding half a teaspoon of salt. I have to write her and tell her that I just saw it now, a year later. It's like a year later. You gave us a gift a year later. I saw the note that came with it. Can you serve it with anything else? Regarding the bobotie or the rice? I saw references to the bobotie that Bobotie, sorry, accent on the second syllable. Said it can be served with like a salad or something, you know, very basic. I did see some reference here that said to serve it with rice, and I saw a recipe for yellow rice, the South African yellow rice, so I said, hey, why not? So we're adding half a teaspoon of salt, so now I'm not eyeballing it. I need to get the camera out, hold on. Okay. Rice and left hand, right hand. I need 3 hands. Okay. Salt in, and then the turmeric. We're adding turmeric to this. Both. Yes, you can have the rice with anything. I mean, you know, growing up in Puerto Rican, we have rice with, like, there isn't anything you can't have rice with. And if now I realize, oh, if you can make rice interesting, you know, all the better. And this, as you see, this has some of the same ingredients. This is going to have the turmeric, which is, oh, and that little thing, they quoted me on, Meerkat did a little piece on me on Medium. So I was featured, I was Today and Featured Friday. And they asked me what's one spice I couldn't live without. And I said, well, aside from salt and pepper, I guess it would have to be turmeric. And the only reason I say that is because of all the spices I have, that's the one I seem to go through the fastest. This is like my 4th jar of turmeric since I started this whole thing. So it's 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric that we're adding. And then we're adding 3, I can put this back now. We're adding 3 tablespoons of sugar to this, which sounds like a lot, but it's for a good cause. Okay, I'm actually going through this entire... Hi there! Hey, did I follow you? Greg? Okay, and hi there, hello! Al79in, thank you. Hi there, good seeing you. M. Monroe, thank you for the like. So, we're working on our yellow rice. Or bobotie is in the... Bobotie, God, gotta get that right. Is in the oven right now. And so we're adding 3 whole tablespoons of white sugar. Okay. This is where it would help to be ambidextrous. Okay. Okay. 1. You make it look easy. If I try to end up messing up, let me tell you, you probably weren't here for the backstory, but the backstory is that I didn't ever cook. I was like the world's worst. I wouldn't set foot in the kitchen. I set fire to water. Literally, I made water go on fire. I destroyed everything that I came in contact with. 30 years, I wouldn't go into a kitchen. And I finally, you know, after a long series of events, you know, a fancy chef person just told me, oh, just get over it and just do it. And I said, really? He says, just do it. Go on YouTube, learn to roast a chicken. And I said, okay, and I did, and I was crying. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, and, you know, I freaking did it. And then I did my stew from Afghanistan. A stew is like the easiest thing to do. That's what, you know, people would do to serve their families for a million years, so it can be done. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Believe me when I tell you. I mean, yes, I'm 3 years into it now, so I know a whole lot more than I did when I started 3 years ago. But then I didn't know how to, like, cut an onion open. And I just recently think I finally figured that one out, so... it just, you know, don't be afraid to screw up. That was my advice. I said, don't be afraid to screw up. This is half a teaspoon of cinnamon that we're adding here. I mean, if you cry and you freak out and you destroy something, you know, just know it's going to happen. It's like, I run 10 miles every other day. 5 years ago, I couldn't get off my couch. I couldn't jog to the corner. I was much larger. And the idea that someone would tell me I'm running 10 miles, it'd be like, you're high. But I am.
You have much to be proud of.
Yes. But, you know, when I tell people about that, I say, don't be afraid to screw up. You know, you're going to wind up getting injured. You're going to wind up stopping. You're going to wind up thinking you're giving up. Just know that you're going to screw up and just commit to just keep going. To get back up again. Life is long. So, those are raisins. So we're adding our raisins to this, and we're adding our last tablespoon. Oh, here we can put that on the recycling pile. That's trash. Our last tablespoon of butter, which is sitting right over here. What are you making? Brains. This right now we're making the South African yellow rice. That's going to go with our bobotie, which is the spiced meat. And fruits and custard casserole, which is in the oven below us right now. Cooking. Okay, so now to all this, we're going to add 2.5 cups of water. Okay, here's our 2. Okay, right hand, left hand. See, I didn't really know how big a saucepan to use, because I know it's going to expand. I always feel like I always wind up getting one that's too big. But that's okay. Okay, there's our 1/2 cup. And I'm going to bring that sucker to a boil. Now let me get my spatula or something to break this up. We're going to spread out our raisins in here. So I really wasn't sure how big a pot to use, because like I said, I know it expands. But there's only 1 cup of, so this is probably much too big a saucepan for this. But, you know, it'll work. But first I need to bring this to a boil. And then I need to cover it and let it simmer on low for 20 to 30 minutes. Which is basically how long it's going to take for the bobotie to be ready down below. And then, you know, they'll be ready. Hey Danny, how are you doing? Thank you for the restream. Good seeing you on this odd day. We are bringing our common humanity together through food. Yes. I've mentioned my global traveling friend on many occasions. I don't know if you go on YouTube, and I don't know what you'd search for. Let me see if I can find like the right words for the search term, because on a day like today, it's probably a good tonic. While I wait for that to boil, if I recommend you go up. Go to YouTube and search for 1 second every country, and it'll restore your faith in humanity, especially on a day like today. He went to every country on the planet, and you see him crossing each border. He went by land. Took him 4 years. He went by land, and he took a video of him entering each country, one by one. And over 4 minutes, he realized that we're all, you know, we're all human, no matter where we are. And I found it quite moving. So, that's my little recommendation for the day. This is starting to boil, so we're going to lower this down to a simmer, and we're going to let that simmer for 20 to 30 minutes until dinner is ready. Ta-da! Can you get the stuff in any supermarket? Good question. It depends on what stuff you're talking about, and depends where you are. However, we happen to be in Florida, and not in Miami. We're about like 2 hours north, an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Miami. So the reason I mentioned that is kind of the people that we're living around. I don't know where you are on this earth, but if you're like in or near a big cosmopolitan city with a big immigrant population of this or that, the person's name is Graham Hughes. The thing you're going to look for on YouTube is called 1 Second Every Country, and then you'll find it. Or search for both, Graham Hughes, Graham like graham cracker, Hughes like Howard Hughes, or 1 Second Every Country. You'll find it, you'll see it. I cry every time I see it. But food you can get in any supermarket. And doing this global thing, one of the things I discovered right away was, oh my god, I can't find that thing. I don't know what that thing is for that country. Where am I going to find it? And so this is good because, you know, we got time, and I'm glad you're asking questions while I wash. Depending where you are, because we're in South Florida, so there's a lot of, basically every, Latin American country, there are people living, within, if not 10 minutes, then, 2 hours. So there's stuff for every one of those. If there's like African countries, that was the trickiest, because it isn't so much that there's like really weird stuff. Yes, there's bush meat. Like I wanted to find ostrich to cook, and I, wasn't able to find it. Weird, unusual proteins are going to be hard to find. What's really hard to find are certain, greens, produce things. That it really depends on where you are, and you don't have to be like Mr. Authentic. There's a guy who was cooking around the world, started before I did, and kind of quit. And it took him 1 year between two countries, and then another 4 years between the next two, because he wants to be so perfectly authentic. He will not have, if it's not the exact rice they have in that country, he's not going to have it. He has to be everything exact, which is, that's his thing. But you can find substitutes, decent substitutes for different greens different vegetables that you can find. The recipes I link on my blog at cliffyland.com. They're findable things. If you are like in near a major urban market, there will be an international market somewhere. You can find an African market, an Asian market, like a Caribbean market. The really tricky one would be sort of islands, the Oceania. Although they don't have too many hard to find items there, but they do sometimes. So it depends where you are geographically, and how exactly perfect you want to be. But like for this, there's ground lamb, and I didn't have to. I could find that at the corner. I could have used ground beef, and I could find that anywhere. What would be tricky if one wanted to pull this kind of thing off is that some people ask, how can you do this vegetarian? I said you could, but it would be really, really tricky. Because, for instance, South African dishes, or like almost, everything involves meat. Somalia, everything like every main course is going to involve some kind of meat. If you want to live on side dishes, I know vegetarians and vegans, do a great thing, and they do, go through a lot of work to, stick to that, and more power to you. But it's a lot of work. The cuisines of, every part of the world don't necessarily lend themselves to that. But you're probably used to changing things up to make things yummy and nutritious. So, just takes a little more work. Salt and pepper I'm leaving out. This is clean. And so now we're just waiting for the food to be ready. That's bubbling. I should turn that down even more. Hey there, hi there, ho there. Wow, that's a lot of people. I guess we all need a break today. So we're bringing ourselves together with food. This again is the food of South Africa. Country number 160, 193. So there are only, after this, there'll only be 33 countries left to go, 35 weeks, because we take 2 weeks off at the holidays. So, we are also going to be cooking on Sunday, which is, and Tuesday. Tuesday, we cook every Tuesday. Kind of without fail. We had like one exception. But every Tuesday, sometimes I do Fridays, sometimes I do Sundays. Lately I've been doing two and three. And a country with so many dishes like South Africa, I'm doing all three. The one I'm doing for, I think, Sunday is going to involve, I could go buy a loaf of bread, a loaf of white bread, but it would have to be unsliced white bread. And I don't want white bread that has, all the stuff that processed stuff you buy in a loaf of bread. So I found a recipe. I'm going to try making my own loaf of white bread for this very, very odd, very, very messy dish. I wanted to try the ostrich steaks, but I can't find them. I don't know where I can find them. I called the market. Like I said, I called the gourmet market today. And they said, oh, well, I'll call my suppliers. And they called me back and said, well, you can get ground ostrich for $35 a pound, or the ostrich steaks, which is what I would need, for $79 a pound. I was thinking, no. I want it. I don't need it that bad. Oh, by the way, we're listening to Miriam Makeba, Pata Pata. Probably the most famous South African recording artist who passed away not too long ago, and civil rights activist. So Pata Pata, and it was a big hit in the U.S. in the 60s as well. So to bone up on your South African music. We've been listening to a variety of South African favorites We started out hearing Apple Music's collection of South African favorites, followed by South African jazz, and now we're on to a different series of South African favorites, including Ladysmith, Black Mambazo, etc., who are sort of introduced to the rest of the world by Paul Simon. And his Graceland album. I'm just babbling here. Babbling while we wait for the food to cook. So we have another, say 20 some odd minutes or more on the meat. Let's go see what that looks like, shall we? Where's the light? Light, oven light. Light, 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 light. I know I'm gonna find it. There's a button, oven light right there. Can you see? Yes, the egg has not set yet, which is what we're shooting for there. So, and more Mir and Makiba. So again, if you have any questions, this would be a good time for them because we're just sort of cleaning and killing time while we wait for the food to cook. And again, if you saw on my Twitter, they featured me, Meerkat featured me today, which was really cool. They did an interview, so... I mean, I was once an editor, so I know what it is to have to edit things out, but it's funny, they ask certain questions. And I could tell, like, what they weren't going to include. And, like, so one question I answered, like, I was looking forward to, you know, any feature updates to Meerkat and such. And I knew they weren't going to include that. Because it said, I want to see an Apple TV. Now, the Periscope people have an app on the Apple TV. I want a Meerkat app. Although the weird thing is that, you know, the Periscope thing is just for watching. There's no, you know, commenting or anything. And part of the joy of Meerkat is the participation side of things. So that would be... No, I know already I see like 1 million people who are like here but just have never commented, so there's that. I'm just babbling. It's been a day. I got my hair cut. A better experience today than last time. Didn't have a guy in the next chair saying really disturbing stuff. I can't stop talking. If I stop talking, then the copyright gods like jump in and they say, oh no, you can't use that on your YouTube. So, just me having to babble while everyone's watching stuff. Okay, so keeping everything clean. Let me get my plates out. Might as well do it now. Nothing better to do. You know, I want to go, you know, South Africa is where I'm thinking of going after I finish with Zimbabwe, which is country number 193. It's going to be July, the end of July of next year, where we hit Zimbabwe. And I promised the husband a vacation. Since it's Florida, it's going to be August, and it's disgustingly hot in Florida in August, I thought, hey, you know what would be good? We can go to the Southern Hemisphere. So I'm wondering whether to do Cape Town, Buenos Aires, or New Zealand. One of those three. It'll be winter time. It'll be nice. Looking good, Chef Cliffy. Thank you, Derek. How are things in Scotland? Cold and windy? Cloudy and rainy? There was something. Oh yeah, when I was just in, oh, that reminds me. This Bobotie that we're making, when I was researching the meal, oddly enough, it kind of migrated, the dish. There's variations on it, and one worked its way to Argentina, where the Bobotie, which is in there, which you saw in the casserole, the same concept, but made inside a pumpkin. And that's a version that they have in Argentina. And in Scotland, apparently, they do one with haggis in some way. I don't know if they put haggis in it or they put it in, but then the other thing right behind it says, but this is not really a bobotie. And I'm like, well, obviously it's not. Jove, thank you for the like and the restream. Jose, yes. Good seeing you. Thank you for coming by. We are cooking our night 1 of 3 nights of the food of South Africa. We're cooking bobotie, which is a spiced meat and fruits casserole with a custard topping. And we're cooking a yellow rice from South Africa to go with it. Both have some of the same flavors, raisins and turmeric and curry and such. So we're waiting for our rice to cook, and we're kind of in a holding pattern right now because we're just waiting for it to cook. And normally this doesn't happen, but sometimes it does. Because sometimes when I do these, when there do dishes that are from, it's hard to generalize by geography, but the dishes from Africa tend, and a certain number of European ones, there's a lot of, stew, let it cook, it takes a long time. But the Asian stuff, there's a lot of cooks fast. It all happens super, super fast. So like the first country that I did that involved doing multiple nights was China, because I said China's got like so many cuisines across this massive country with one time zone. You knew that, right? All of China, they all live on one time zone, even though it would stretch across 5. That must be very strange. But I cooked on 2 nights because I realized there was no way I could do 2 dishes at the same time, since they both were like stir fry really, really fast, go. So I did 2 nights, and I filled the house completely with smoke. It was, you couldn't see, you couldn't breathe. It was kind of scary for a bit there, but we got through it. It's wild and windy here, not so sunny Scotland, but it's dry and warm where I'm sitting. Oh, that's nice. Yes, I think our weather is finally going to clear eventually here. Where are we at? Just so I know. It was, we had a record of 90 degrees yesterday during the day, even though by nighttime I was able to run. I ran at night, in the evening, for the first time, like sunset, and it was dark when I was coming back. I almost ran over, I was running out, and a big giant black snake came like right under my feet, and I like screamed like a little girl. And then I just kept running, and then like 5 miles later, like a bunny rabbit almost tripped over him. And I was thinking, oh my god. And then a few miles later, almost ran over a naked baby. I'm not kidding, there was a naked baby. It's like a family, and they were getting in the car, and I thought it was like a distance. I thought it was a child and a dog, and as I got closer, what I thought was a dog was a naked baby who just decided to like jump right into the path of my running. And I was like, ah, my god, I don't want to run over your child. And then I realized, oh, that child's naked. And then I almost ran over a frog. So that was an interesting night last night. I'm running in the dark. It is 79 degrees right now at nighttime. So, yeah. That's good. It's still going to be highs in the mid-80s, which is... Ugh. I know you guys are on Celsius. Can you like do the conversion in your head? Because I can't. That doesn't work for me. Apart from the baby, those are all ingredients. Yes. 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 And funny. Oh jeez. I posted a thing on Facebook. Since I'm just babbling here, I'm departing from the food conversation. I had a question. So, what the hell? Musical question. What what's the sappiest, most sentimental, most ridiculous song that you can't help but like? Because I have mine. I have more than one. I have several. I have a thing for crazy, ridiculous songs. But I was asking people to post what theirs were. And, I mean, they were pleasant, but they were like, you know, pleasant little love songs. I was thinking, no, I meant like crazy, ridiculous, crazy songs, like Run, Joey, Run, which is from my youth. Does anybody know that song? Run, Joey, Run? It's insane. It's a story of girls screaming to her boyfriend to run. He says, "Daddy, please don't. It wasn't his fault. Apparently she's gotten knocked up or they're going to get married." And then you think that he's gotten killed by the dad, but then the end is like she jumped in front of the bullet. So, you know, it's her singing, and it's very 70s and a teen tragedy song. Would you play music while you cook? I do. I am. I'm playing South African music right there. But the thing is, I have to keep talking, because if I just let the music play, then when I go post this on YouTube, I get a copyright warning saying that you can't use that because that's, you know, copywritten, So that's why I'm doing the rapid fire thing. But, you know, if you ask questions, that's good too. It fills things up. Right now, who are we listening to, by the way? We were listening to Miriam Makeba. Are we still? Yes, it is Miriam Makeba. Best known for Pata Pata. And her years of civil rights work and that good stuff. That sucks. Oh, about the music? Yeah. It is. I mean, before I knew, I just thought this was an ephemeral thing where the comes and it disappears and no one ever gets to see it. And then people started with the hashtag catch and they wanted to see it later. And then I thought, well, what the hell, I'll just post it all. And then, but I had just had random music playing. And then suddenly, when I tried to post it on YouTube, when I opened up my channel, I got all these notifications like, we recognize this song and this song and this song. And I'm like, yeah. And I had to write explanation saying 32 degrees Celsius. What is 32 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
89.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, that's kind of like what I was running in yesterday. But at least it was dark. It's the sun that kills me. It is the sun that kills me. And, you know, and I mentioned before, oh, what's your favorite songs? Oh, well, in general, or 4 degrees Celsius here? What's 4 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
39.2 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's cold. I mean, that's cold. That's more than a sweater. That would be good for running, but not good for, like, you know, walking out in flip-flops. Favorite songs in general? I mean, the favorite, like, goofy, ridiculous songs, like I said, there's this Run, Joy, Run, and there's this other one called, by the same guy, oddly enough, called Blind Man in the Bleachers, which, again, it's sad, it's stupid, it's ridiculous, and it's so stupid that it's funny. Because it's a man, I mean, it's supposed to be sentimental and make you cry for, you know, and it kind of does, which is what's so crazy. It's about this, it's a story song about a kid is a football player and his dad never misses a game, and it's like, and his dad is blind, and everyone's wondered why the dad who's blind comes to see his son play, but then one day, the dad isn't there, and everyone asks the boy why his dad isn't there, and it says, oh, he died last night, but it's the first night he got to see him play, which is like, it's like stupid and ridiculous and corny and still kind of makes you cry. So, that's not my favorite song in the world, but, and particularly, I mean, for actual, you know, loving, I love Joan Armatrading. And she's a British singer, born in St. Kitts and Nevis, and she's done a lot of stuff, started from like singer-songwriter stuff, she's done jazz and blues and rock and stuff like that. Saddest movie, Who Will Love My Children. Saddest movie, Who Will... Oh, the saddest movie is Who Will Love My Children. That sounds like a pretty sad title right there. I think I've heard of that, but that sounds pretty sad. Yeah, on a sad day. But we're going to try to cheer up. So it's almost 8 o'clock. Let's see how... But Joan Armatrading, if you don't know her, check her out. Joan Armatrading. Arm like arm, A, and then trading, like trading stamps or something. Burn my face. I think it needs a few more minutes, especially since the rice hasn't been completely absorbed yet. But Joan Armatrading, she's really great. She started in the 70s. I saw her her very final tour. She said she's not ever touring again. So I saw her just a few months ago. She's on her final tour now. But she's based out of London. Really good. From, like I said, from funny songs to sad songs to, you know, up-tempo songs. She's never really had a pop hit, at least this side of the Atlantic. Her most famous song is Love and Affection, which is, like, the greatest song in the world. I also love Donna Summer, because, you know, no big surprise, I'm a Donna Summer fan. I think I saw her in concert 10 times or so, something like that. Many, many times. It's 8 o'clock here. Let's see how... But, you know, you're welcome. What's yours? What are your favorite songs? Favorite song, ridiculous, you know, ridiculous or not ridiculous. This rice has not been... Water's not been completely absorbed. But we're getting close. Oh, I was gonna ask, wasn't I? Do you ever sing when you cook? No. I have nothing against it. Months ago, I told my story about how I was once in the School of Music for a year before transferring out. And I was a voice major. A voice principal, not a voice major. Meaning that my instrument was voice, but voice wasn't what I was, you know, there for. And, but I haven't really sung since then, not even in the shower. Rarely do I ever. I can lip sync a storm, though. I once got a $100 tip when I was lip syncing. It paid for a trip to San Francisco. Let's see how this is. Hey, shall we? Let's see if we can taste this sucker. I have my spoon ready, and I need a fork to fluff. But feel free to volunteer any musical selections that are your particular favorites. I'm always curious about that. Like the global thing. First song that I bought was December 63. Yes, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Yes. See, the first song I bought is tricky. The first non-children's song that I acquired was Find Yourself a Rainbow, backed with Felicidad by Sally Field as the Flying Nun. I didn't pick it out myself, but I loved it. Oh my god, that's ridiculously good. That is insanely good. Favorite song to sing to, Joseph Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I'm familiar with it, I don't know it though. I mean, I know of it. It's a song that I love, I Can't Believe You're Gone. The song is for my girlfriend who died 2 weeks ago. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that, Craig. My heart goes out to you. That is very, very sad. I'm sorry that happened. Quite. My deepest condolences. Oh, well. On that note, I'm gonna see how the Bobotie is doing, if it's ready. Okay, so let's get out our Bobotie. You know, a smart thing to do would be to not grab with my bare hands. Because I have a nasty habit of reaching into the oven with my bare hands and then going, ow. So once again, Top Chef, guiding light. Or TV-themed oven mitts. Ah! Hot. Okay. There. Let's see. Has the egg set? You tell me. Okay. Here we go. So, has it set? Okay. Let's give it a shot. That's quite good. Yes. And it looks like has the egg set. Yes, it looks like the egg set. So, okay, I think we're good. I think we're ready to go. Looks awesome. Yes, thank you. So I need to get rid of the lime leaves, because that would be kind of a dry, crunchy. Something tells me I should have buried them like deeper in there, not just on top, but I followed what the pictures did. Okay, so plate, scooping. I'm serving now. So, I've seen this served in a bowl, but we're not doing a bowl. And if I had something to dress it up color-wise, I would, but I don't, so I can't. So we're having a whole lot of yellow. It's funny how the food of certain countries, when I see it on a plate, they tend to have a certain selection of colors. So African foods tend to have lots of yellows and greens. And Polynesian foods have lots of yellows and oranges. And European foods will have a certain number of reds and greens, depending on what country. I wish I was in the neighborhood of Pop for leftovers. I wish you were too. And thank you, thank you. Let me let you stare at that while I get this off my hands. And I plate the second one, and I'll put the rice down. I need to fluff my rice too. I just realized this whole time I've been making rice, I keep forgetting to fluff it. Okay, and okay, wipe off the wiper. Boom, 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 boom. You know that lion sleeps tonight. Yes, is this a surprise? And scoop. Okay, so we're gonna fluff. I need to fluff it with a fork. And fluffing, fluffing, fluffing. Trying not to attack the nonstick. Carrie, hey there. Send me some lol. Yeah, I wish I could work it through the interwebs here. I always keep remarking how funny it is that I have these, people, friends on Facebook, friends, on here, that, interested in the food and like the food and like to have the food, and then meanwhile my friends in real life, I offer them to come over and they're like, oh, that sounds weird. I don't know what that is. I don't think I'll try that. So this is very monochromatic again. And I do not think cilantro is really appropriate flavor-wise. I mean, it would give it some color. Victor is live on Swedish Food TV tomorrow, 9 p.m. UK time. Yes, the answer is yes. Surprise! Now run tell Mama. And I really need to... I want to put some color on this. You know what? I do have some cilantro, and I know it's probably not right, but it will give it a better look. Because right now it's nice. I'm just saying, yes, the voice. Shit happens. I've learned to not care
care?
No, about need something green on the plate. That's what I was thinking about the cilantro. But you shouldn't generalize about people. Just saying.
Wow, look at that. Doesn't that look delicious?
It looks good, yes, but I need... You're right, it does need something green. Let me go grab some cilantro. Since I have it. Just a little bit. There you go. If you work in the cafe, how much would you sell it? I would have no idea. Good question, but I would have no earthly idea. This is not the happiest cilantro in the world. Wow. Okay. Okay. That's... Here. I'll put it on top. Just to have something green. So yeah, see, I don't take it as disrespect. So it doesn't bother me. So we're cool. Worry not. Okay, this is a little bit on the wilted side, but we'll be okay. Okay. All right. So we have the hint of green, just to have something else without getting too far afield. Alrighty, so we're good. I'm a chef. It looks good, man. Oh wow, that's great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Brian Lopez. You've got a shot of that. Let me make sure I get my camera. There we go. So, time to eat. We've got our... I followed you back, Brian. Our Bobotie, right over here. And our yellow rice from South Africa. So that is night one. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Justin. The fish... No, there's no fish this time. The Bobotie is spiced meat, which is in this case ground lamb, with almonds, apples, and raisins and curry, and then the yellow rice with raisins and turmeric and other spices. So that's it, night one of South Africa. Thank you. Make sure you can follow here on Meerkat. You can follow on Twitter, on Tumblr, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on Facebook, and now you can subscribe on YouTube for all the deets. Thank you, Tiffany, for the like and the restream. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everybody. Tune in on Sunday for night 2 of 3 nights of South Africa. It's a big country with lots of cuisine, lots of different stuff. Should be really good. Thanks for coming by. You guys are great. Hug each other. Give yourself a big hug because we all need it for tonight. Okay? Love you. Take you guys.